Alright guys, let's get real for a hot second. You're probably watching this video because you've got a PhD in procrastination. I mean, we've all been there, haven't we? Staring at a deadline like it's a venomous snake while simultaneously scrolling through cat memes with the intensity of a NASA scientist searching for extraterrestrial life. But here's the kicker. It doesn't even feel good. It's like a constant low-grade fever of guilt and anxiety, a nagging feeling that you're failing at life, even as you convince yourself that one more episode of Bridgerton won't hurt. So what's the deal? Why are we so inexplicably drawn to this self-sabotaging behavior, even when it feels like a one-way ticket to misery? Well, get ready to have your mind blown, because we're about to delve into the fascinating, hilarious, and sometimes downright ridiculous world of procrastination. Turns out, procrastination isn't just a quirky habit reserved for college students cramming before finals. It's a universal phenomenon that affects everyone from high-achieving PhD students to brilliant engineers. And yes, even those entrepreneurial masterminds who seem to effortlessly juggle a million projects at once. It's not about being lazy or lacking ambition. The root cause is far more complex and, dare I say, intriguing. The sneaky stress stopper. At its core, procrastination is a clever disguise for stress relief. Yep, you heard that right. That project you've been putting off like it's radioactive? Your brain perceives it as a threat, like a surprise visit from your in-laws or a pop quiz on the intricacies of medieval tax law. This perceived threat triggers a flood of negative emotions. Dread, insecurity, enter your amygdala, the emotional control center of your brain. It's like the alarm system in your house, but instead of blaring sirens, it releases a cocktail of stress hormones, including adrenaline, cortisol, and a severe panic attack. This fear response effectively hijacks your prefrontal cortex, the rational decision-making part of your brain, like a group of overzealous toddlers taking over the cockpit of a plane. In this chaotic state, procrastination swoops in like a knight in shining armor, offering a temporary escape route. It whispers sweet nothings in your ear like, "Hey, why don't you just ignore that looming deadline and watch this viral TikTok vid instead?" And just like that, you're sucked into a vortex of distraction, your stress levels momentarily dipping as you scroll through social media or rearrange your sock drawer. But hold on, because this relief is as fleeting as a Snapchat story. The stress inevitably returns. It's a vicious cycle, like a hamster wheel made of guilt, anxiety, and self-loathing. Certain individuals are more susceptible to this procrastination party than others. If you struggle with emotional regulation, grapple with low self-esteem, or have an intense fear of failure, you're basically a VIP guest. And if life throws you curveballs like financial worries, health concerns, or relationship drama, well, you've just won an all-expenses-paid trip to procrastination land. The consequences of chronic procrastination aren't just a few missed deadlines. They can wreak havoc on your mental and physical well-being. We're talking anxiety, depression, headaches, insomnia, and a whole host of stress-related ailments. Breaking the cycle. Okay, now that we already know the why, let's get deeper into the real details of overcoming procrastination. Yes, the how. We've established that it's not about laziness or a lack of willpower. It's about stress, avoidance, and a brain that's trying to protect you, in a rather misguided way though. So what can we do about it? Befriend your inner critic. The first and foremost step is to make peace with your inner critic, that nagging voice in your head that loves to berate you for every missed deadline or unfinished task. Instead of engaging in a self-flagellation session, try practicing a little self-compassion, treating yourself with kindness and understanding. Recognize that this behavior stems from stress, not laziness or failure. You're simply dealing with stress. Talk to yourself like you would a friend who's struggling. Offer words of encouragement, acknowledge the challenges you're facing, and remind yourself that you're capable of overcoming them. The power of baby steps. Now let's tackle those daunting tasks head on. One of the most effective ways to combat procrastination is to break it down. If a project feels like scaling Mount Everest in stilettos, break it down into smaller, more manageable steps. Think of it like eating a giant pizza. You wouldn't try to shove the whole thing in your mouth at once, right? Well, at least I wouldn't. Instead, you'd cut it into slices, making it easier to consume and digest. The same principle applies to tasks. Break them down into bite-sized chunks, and suddenly that mountain of work doesn't seem so insurmountable. This will make it seem less intimidating and give you a sense of accomplishment as you conquer each mini-goal. And if your attention span is about as long as a TikTok video, break your work into intervals, ideally 25 minutes in length, separated by short breaks. The idea is to work with intense focus during the work intervals, and then reward yourself with a short break to recharge. The art of distraction management. Distractions are the shiny objects that tempt us away from our goals. They're the siren song of social media, the allure of a messy inbox, the irresistible urge to watch your favorite Netflix shows. To overcome procrastination, you need to become a master of distraction management. Create a distraction-free zone where your task is the sole focus. This means creating a dedicated workspace free from temptations, silencing notifications, and setting boundaries with your time. It might even mean resorting to drastic measures like using website blockers or temporarily disabling your phone. Sometimes boredom can be your best friend, making even the most mundane tasks seem like a welcome escape. Remember, the goal is to create an environment where your task is the only option, like a spotlight on a Broadway stage. The magic of starting rituals. Next, let's outsmart our brains by creating a starting ritual. Sometimes, the hardest part of any task is simply getting started. That's where starting rituals come in. This is like a secret handshake with productivity, a way to trick your brain into getting started. These are small, consistent actions to start focusing. It could be as simple as making a cup of coffee, putting on your headphones, turn on your favorite music playlist, or simply just counting down from 5. The key is to find a ritual that works for you and stick with it. Over time, it will become a trigger for productivity, like Pavlov's dog salivating at the sound of a bell. If the urge to procrastinate arises, you can try the just 5 minutes rule. Commit to working on the task for just 5 minutes. Chances are, once you get started, you'll find it easier to continue. Once you've overcome the initial inertia, you're more likely to build momentum and keep going. Time management, your secret weapon. Time management is often seen as a tedious chore, but it can be a powerful weapon in the fight against procrastination. By planning your day, setting deadlines, and prioritizing tasks, you're essentially creating a roadmap for success. This not only reduces the feeling of overwhelm, but also gives you a sense of control over your time. Don't be afraid to leverage the power of time management tools. There are countless tools and techniques available, from traditional detailed to-do lists to fancy apps that block distractions. Try to schedule tough tasks for when you know your focus and motivation peak, like mornings if you're an early bird, or nights if you're a night owl. Experiment and find what works best for you. And remember, regular breaks are essential for maintaining focus and avoiding burnout. The power of positive visualization. Visualization is not just for woo-woo New Age gurus. It's a scientifically proven technique that can boost motivation and improve performance. Take a few minutes each day to visualize yourself successfully completing your tasks. See yourself crossing items off your to-do list, acing that presentation, or finally finishing that novel you've been working on. The more vividly you can imagine it, the more your brain will believe it's possible, making it easier to take action. Self-care and self-rewards, the foundation of productivity. Remember, you're not a machine. You're a human being, so prioritize self-care. This means getting enough sleep, eating nutritious food, exercising regularly, and taking breaks when you need them. It also means managing stress through relaxation techniques like meditation, yoga, or spending time in nature. And do you remember those gold stars you used to get in elementary school? Turns out there's a philosophy behind all that. Rewards can be a powerful motivator for both children and adults, so set up a reward system for yourself. After completing a task, give yourself a small treat, like a piece of chocolate, a funny YouTube video, or a relaxing bath. This positive reinforcement will make your brain associate productivity with pleasure, and not a life sentence. The power of saying no. Sometimes procrastination isn't about avoiding tasks, it's about overcommitting ourselves. We say yes to every request, every invitation, every opportunity until our schedule is bursting at the seams. To combat this, learn the art of saying no. Be selective about what you take on, and don't be afraid to decline requests that don't align with your priorities or values. Remember, every yes to something else is a no to your own goals. So there you have it. Embrace that overcoming procrastination is a journey, not a destination. It takes patience, persistence, and a healthy dose of self-compassion. Like any journey, there will be setbacks, challenges, and moments when you want to give up. But don't get discouraged. Understand the underlying causes, developing healthy habits, celebrate your small victories, learn from your mistakes, and keep moving forward. Keep in mind, even the smallest step in the right direction is progress. If you've made it this far, I hope these tips help you as much as they've helped me. Don't forget to share your own experiences and tips in the comments below. Thanks for watching.